Hey drummers, how are we doing? It's been a while, and here I have my new drum studio. Going to do a video on the build from start to finish, how we've soundproofed it. That was for those of you who've seen my channel before. I had a drum pod, which was absolutely fantastic. It was a very reluctant change I made, mainly because I wasn't 100% sure whether this room was going to be able to be soundproofed as effectively as what the drum pod was. But in short, this is my garage. We wanted a utility room at the other end of the garage, and it was difficult to build that utility room with the drum pod in situ. It just wasn't really working out, so we figured that we'd sell the pod, put the money towards a build, and so we now have a utility room and my new drum studio. So I'm just going to talk you through the build and how we've done it. So this was what it was like before. This was the drum pod. 8 foot by 7 foot. Absolutely loved it, had it for a few years. But it's gone. This is my garage at the beginning. The timber frame's just going up with the utility room. Got the membrane down on the floor. And that's the garage door there. Nothing's changed there. We've just put the rock wool insulation and I've wedged it up against the garage door. That's the gas meter, which has to be boxed in. And this is the timber frame with the membrane. Just 4x2s. The wall frame is being built away from the wall, so it's not touching. So essentially we're trying to go for this room within a room. So none of the timber frames are actually touching the walls. Here's the door frame gone in. The timber frame is about 250 mil in front of the garage door. This is the first fix for the electrics. This is going where all the light switches and the sockets are going. I'm going to be having some downlighters going up here. And some double sockets going along the bottom. You can never have too many sockets. Time for the insulation, lots of rock wool. So we started fitting that into the frames. Where the garage door is, that's double walled. And then there's a black acoustic blanket going over the top. So it's about 400 mil of rock wool insulation there in front of the door. And the plasterboard's turned up, started putting in the ceiling. That's about 225 mil of rock wool insulation in front of the garage door. So we've got 2 of those, as well as an acoustic blanket. Plasterboard's gone up. Then I have to do my first attempt at taping and joining, filling all the joints. This is acoustic plasterboard, a bit more expensive and it's very heavy. That's my colour sample. Coming from the utility room, and the door is in. It's a solid wood door. There's a little recess for the Mac and the sound system, the recording equipment to go in there. That's covering the gas meter. Just need a little hole in there so I can, I still need to be able to do meter readings. We started to prime the plasterboard. Ready for painting. makes it a little bit easier painting. It's very difficult to paint directly onto plasterboard. It sucks like a pig. On goes the colour, the first coat of colour, which at this point I was questioning myself because it wasn't first, when it first went on, it wasn't the sort of blue I was going for. Got a bit of free child labour involved. Painting straight over the architrave, very good. It was going on and it was a very light blue, which is not what I was going for, but then once it dried very dark, which was more the colour that I was going for. I've never painted the walls and ceilings the same colour before, so I was a bit worried at this point. Wasn't quite sure how it was gonna look at the end. Then I've tried to do the skirting boards. I've never done skirting boards before. Getting all the mitering and the corners doing was an absolute nightmare, but once you got used to it, I got there eventually. The same with the coving, polystyrene coving, just to keep it in budget, and it's much easier to fix yourself. Then I went down to Costco and got some acoustic tiles, acoustic panels for the wall, put up some LED strips. They just went in behind the coving, so they just act as an uplighter. And then that's the first couple of acoustic panels from Costco up on the wall, just underneath the downlighters. It was just at this point it started to take shape, and I was really happy with how it was coming along. Had to go and get some more panels and started fitting them all on the walls to try and reduce the amount of echo, because there was a lot of reverb in the room, which is always a bit of a nightmare when it comes to recording. But the panels were easy to install. A couple of the obligatory whiplash posters that arrived, so I got those up. And yeah, the room at this point started to really take shape. Then this is my attempt at the flooring. So I got some underlay in, got some carpet tiles. I was going to go for half floor, but it was just too echoey, so I went for carpet tiles in the end. Got the floor finished, and the carpet tiles made a big difference with the amount of echo. It really started to absorb some of the sound. But it was still, at this point, especially in that sort of, where that recess there is definitely more echoey. The sound was just bouncing around. So that's all the wood effect that's all the wood effect acoustic panelling up now. But I had to order some more absorbent acoustic foam pads. The sound was still too echoey. Got the drum mat in, and then I got some more of these blue acoustic foam pads to put them up on the walls. This really started to make a difference now, but I had to put some on the ceiling as well. And there's the gas meter reading. Had to get more of these blue acoustic panels. They weren't particularly expensive, but as you can see here now, the utility room is just starting to take shape. But the drum room, I had to get a lot more of these acoustic panels to help stop the echo. Obviously, when you're trying to record, you don't want unwanted echo, which is a bit of a nightmare. So I didn't want to ruin the aesthetics of the room, but I think they look okay. Now for the big moment, the big move in. This is my Yamaha Recording Custom in cherry red. Started bringing in all the gear. And this is the final finish with the utility room all done and dusted. So from a garage that looked like a complete tip and an absolute dumping ground, we've now got a functional room. Drum Club, the name of my channel. This is the finished product. Really happy with the end result. And then of course we had to do the big sound test, which was the bit I was most worried about. I've done all this work, gone to all this work and expense. And what I didn't want to do was do the sound test and for it not to be soundproofed. So here we go. That's around a 40 decibel drop just to go into the utility room, and then to go into the main part of the house. The aim was to get the decibel reading under 50. A normal conversation would take place at about 55 to 60 decibels, so anything under 50 was always the target. Bulk of the soundproofing was going out the front and the side of the house as opposed to into the utility room. So obviously it doesn't really bother me if the utility room you could hear it because no one's in there. So this is out the back of the house. So just about under 50 decibels, which is perfect. And then this was the first concerning area because I have neighbours the other side. So this is just the other side of the drum room now. So under 50 decibels, fantastic result, really happy. That's quieter than somebody having a conversation. And then the next biggest point of concern, which is where most of the sound leakage comes from, is out the garage door. And just the other side of that is the drum room, and fantastic result. So under 50 decibels. And then I'll go to the end of my driveway just to make sure.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So as you can see there, me just speaking into the decibel meter there at a normal, as I'm talking now, is about 60 to 65 dB. So for the sound leakage coming from the garage to be under 50 is basically, it would basically be like a talking voice like this, which nobody's going to hear that inside their houses, which was the main aim of all this. So that was a massive relief because I didn't want to go through all of this effort and expense and trouble and to sell my drum pod, which was doing the job. But now I have this fantastic room. I'm so happy with it. I can walk around the drum kit for the first time without having to turn sideways. I've got air, I can breathe, it doesn't get too hot. The ceiling's 8 foot high. Yeah, absolutely love it. If there's any questions on the build whatsoever, then just type them in below. I am going to do my first recording in the new room. Obviously all the acoustics are going to be different, so I'm probably going to have a bit of a nightmare getting that right. But yeah, check out the next video and we'll have a listen to how the drums sound. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.